What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Starship Evo. This is Ben Hawkins, host of the Galactic Grid. So, today we are going to do some building on the Enterprise. I did a little bit of building on the stream the other day, and it kind of worked and didn't. My poor computer did not like streaming and building at the same time. So, I decided we're going to just do this kind of like little video, kind of the format of this. Basically, the format of this video is I am going to basically show you the progress that I've made so far. Then I'm going to cut to after I've made some more progress, basically. I'd love to be able to do a time-lapse video or something like that. And maybe I'll be able to figure that out in the future. But as of right now, I don't really think that Starship Evo really has the ability to do like a time-lapse video. I could try to figure out how to get like a second client going or something like that. But that would be even more complicated. So I'm for right now, this is what I'm going to do. So on the stream, I started working on the hallways for the ship, and this is what I ended up with. This is for the main straightaways. There's going to be a bunch of straightaways, but then we have our curved hallways, which they have the angled piece. You have the angled piece right there. This would basically be the curved hallways. That this part right here would go out toward the edge of the disc, and or the edge of the saucer, and this would be the inner wall. So, but right now I've got a bunch of different copied versions here that I'm going to eventually be turning into different variants of the hallways. So like you have your T intersection, you have your cross intersection, ones with dots of doors, maybe even some with different types of greebles and paneling and whatnot and stuff like that. So but then I'm going to be taking those, for those who didn't actually watch the stream and want to see what the plan is with this, I actually have a demonstration here. This is what it's eventually going to look like. A nice curved hallway, because you can't have the Starship Enterprise without curved hallways. It just doesn't look right. So, but what I'm basically doing is I have my little anchor blocks down here, the anchor points, and then I'm going to be placing down the each hallway is a child entity. Each hallway segment is a child entity that allows me to be able to do illegal things like this. The hallways ended up being quite a bit bigger than I originally intended. It's like, if you see here, this is the deck layout plan, and it's definitely not following the plan. So, and of course you have to account for these two blocks too, or at least this one anyway. So it's so much bigger than I had planned it to be. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. The ship is definitely going to end up only probably having maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 decks on the saucer section. We'll see. But yeah. So But anyway, the other thing I worked on off camera, I didn't work on it when I was on the stream, is I got this nacelle copied and pasted over to this side over here, and removed the old nasty nacelle. So all I got to do now with this is I got to change the colors for these four corners here. And then I need to finish working on the back end of the nacelle. So right now I'm working on it right now. It looks looking pretty good. I just got to finish it, go down this side, and then smooth it out on the other side over here. And then I am not doing all of that again on this side, so I'm going to be copying this whole thing and pasting it onto this side. I don't know exactly how I'm going to pull that off, but I will figure that out when I get around to it. So, yeah, so that's the progress so far, guys. And I will be back in a few seconds for you with an update on how things went. My plan is to work some more on this back part of the nacelle here, and hopefully maybe get that finished in this video. I'm hoping to do that. And then maybe figure out how to get it copied and pasted over to this side. So that's the goal for this video. And we'll see you when I made some progress. So, alright, see you in a bit.
2 days later.
Alright, guys, welcome back. Alright, so it's been, be honest, it's been a couple of days since I left off. And I've made quite a bit of progress. So we've got brand new, what I call nacelle thrust pucks. These things are freaking awesome. I'm so excited with these things. They turned out really good, and it was a process to get this thrust puck, which it was a lot of smoothing, and it really is a testament to the reason why I tend to try to build using this other method, because trying to make smoothness like this with just regular blocks is a pain in the butt, but it is possible. It's very smooth looking. It's not as smooth looking as this, but it's still very smooth looking. But the process of getting this over here was a real pain in the butt. And the primary reason why I had to do it the way that I did it was because symmetry wasn't really working very well with this build. This whole build symmetry wasn't really working because of the fact that it was an imported entity. All the blocks, for some weird reason, weren't being affected by symmetry. Like, so I would delete one block on one side and it wouldn't do it on the other side. And I think the reason for that is because when it was generated, the build wasn't entirely symmetrical, and so it wouldn't. So when I would do it on one side, it wouldn't happen on the other, and so I ended up having to do some seriously crazy engineering. I ended up figuring out how to get this whole nacelle piece, this entire front end of the nacelle, from this point here all the way up to the Bassard collector onto one entity. This is now one entity. The whole nacelle is one entity. And it is all controlled by this one rotor block right there. So I was able to copy the entire rotor, or the entire nacelle, take it off of the Enterprise, so that I had just this back thrust puck here. Then I was able to place a copy-paste plate on the back, on this side of the thrust puck, do the same thing over here, delete the old thrust puck that was all nasty blockified, and copy this whole thrust puck and paste it onto this side over here. Then I deleted the platform, the copy paste platform, and then pasted back in the nacelle entities, making sure to, because I made sure to make 2 different ones so that I would have the design properly, get the design proper, and I pasted them back on, and the effect is so perfect. It looks so good. I love how it turned out. It just, the Bassards are looking the way that they're supposed to. I've got, like, it looks exactly the way that it should. And I'm so happy. I love the look of it from the behind too, because that right there it's an iconic look for this Enterprise. And so it's being able to capture that look right there is beyond satisfying. I also went ahead and did some coloring of the thrusters and got rid of the weird white pieces on the Bassard collectors. But the thrusters are now red, like they're supposed to be, and I colored the little lighting details around the back hatch. Here, I believe it's kind of a back airlock or something like that. I don't really know the lore behind that. It's probably supposed to be like an aft shuttle pod attachment location. So I'm thinking of eventually adding like some magnetic attachers or something like that, so that shuttle can dock there, or a shuttle pod can dock there in the future. But I haven't got around to that yet. But now the major project that I'm working on now, and trying to get it narrowed down and figured out, is this back end of the body. The back end of the back end of the secondary hull here has got to be done. This is going to be a fun project to try to figure out. I think I've got a plan. I've got a child entity that's going to be right here. And that child entity is just going to basically be the entire back platform piece there. I'm going to build it up as much as I can out to the edges, and I'm going to cut it off, fill in the holes and the gaps, and then place it back in so that it meets up nice and flush with the edges here. And the reason I'm doing that is because it is actually supposed to have a door right here, and it's going to be really hard to do if I try to do a hinge method or something like that. So I'm going to build it traditional style, going up the back end up here, so that I can put in the door. There's supposed to be a big a door for a cargo bay back here. So, and then for the shuttle bay, I'm going to do a similar thing, I think, leaving a hole for the shuttle doors, which is going to be, still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do the doors. I've got some ideas. It involves a lot of rotors and a lot of rails and a lot of getting it just right. But eventually I'll get that done, and I'll be able to start building the interior, guys, because then I'll basically be done with the exterior. It's kind of a weird feeling to know that I'm that close to getting the exterior of this thing pretty close to being done. The other part that's going to take a long time, and a lot of diligence and effort, is going to be painting this saucer section. I've actually finally come up with kind of a color pattern for this. I'm going to have kind of a silver color here. It's going to be a straight white right here, because it shows up pretty well from a distance. And then it's going to be silver kind of a darkish gray, silver, darkish gray, or no, silver, darkish gray, silver, and then over here is kind of a medium gray. I'm going to keep the medium gray right there, and this is going to be back to that silver color. Primarily because I really like this silver color for the whole ship. Like right here, I've already painted this one pylon here that same silver color. So, and I like it because it's kind of that grayish color in the sunlight, but then from behind it still gives you that white look from behind the sun. So I'm going to end up painting the whole ship that color. I also started working on the pinstriping on the side of the ship. It's looking pretty good. And then I added a blue accent color behind the deflector dish, because that's part of the. If you look at the Enterprise in the show, it actually does have a blue glow back behind the deflector dish. So, but then I still have a lot of windows I need to cut out, which that's going to be a fun process, because I realized that I didn't actually provide enough. I didn't provide enough area for building or for cutting out. It is kind of a pain in the butt with this building style. I have to take each one of these. Copy each one of these faces, paste it onto another entity, and then cut out what I want to do, the detailing work that I want to do, and then paste it back on. Because if I were to delete, say, this block right here, I would not be able to replace it because of the physics, the physics check. I wouldn't be able to place that back down. So I have to bring it off the ship, then edit it, then paste it back on. So it's a process, but it's been worth it so far. It just looks so good. And then of course I think I already showed off the corridors. I haven't really worked on them since I showed them off. So, but I'm excited about how these turned out. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Tell me what you guys think of the Enterprise so far. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.